Welcome back to the 6.8 liter garage. Today we're going to walk through something that you've probably been through before, or if you haven't, you soon will be if you're getting a CNC plasma machine. My wife went with a family friend to a craft show and they saw this and they asked me, can you make one of these? And I'm like, what? This Paw-Print. Like, yeah, I can probably make the Paw-Print. And then, well, can you make it into one of those hangers like you've done for keychains so we can hang the leash on it? Sure, I guess I can do that. So I did what all of you should do. Get a laptop guy. And I reached out to the laptop guy and I said, hey, I need one of those hangers, keychain hangers, but make them farther apart like a leash hanger with this Paw-Print. I gave him the Paw-Print. So there we go. Let's see what he came up with.
Laptop guy here. I've been asked to draw a paw-themed leash hanger. So I did, but let me show you how I did that. So first things first, you need a leash. Well, you need a pattern, a paw pattern. So let's import the picture I have. Paw. Someone. I don't know where this picture came from, but there you go. And how are we going to import this and turn it into a path, something we can actually use? Well, there are things to take trace bitmap and stuff like that, but I think the most accurate and least painful way to do it is just to do it yourself. So let's do that. Let's do that the laptop guy way. So we're going to grab the pen tool, Bezier curve tool, and we're just going to start tracing. I usually jump to where the curve changes, so I'll just make my way around here. Too much coffee this morning, maybe. Shaky hands. And I'll try not to take all day, because some of you are into the laptop guide portions of these 6.8 liter videos, and some of you aren't. So, and the laptop part can take a while. Today I think we'll go pretty quickly. And that's the exterior. Okay, let's turn off the fill, shift click a color, use green. There, so these are the lines that we just did. And with the node tool, I'm just going to grab the line and stretch it out. There you go, there's the exterior, or the outer portion of it. Now we need to do the same thing on the pads of the foot. So I'll jump the rather symmetric curves. Okay, so there we go. It's all smoothed out, created the pads. So the next step is get the selector tool, arrow, highlight that one, shift click, highlight the inner pad, path difference. Shift click. difference. Shift click, difference. Control minus is difference. Shift click, control minus difference. So that should create our pad. And if I click the picture, delete it, there's our puppy's pad. So there's a couple more things to do. To make the key, or probably leash hanger, we need a rectangle, which has got rounded corners. That's what I used to draw it earlier. You do that just by dragging this circle down. So that's my rounded corners. And the size of that, I'm going to make it 6 inches by 0.5. That's a good enough size. And we'll do Control D to duplicate. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Just highlight these two guys. Obviously they go underneath. And let's arrange these, make the bottoms equal. Bottoms equal right there. Okay, so now they're level. And then, let's see. Let's separate them a little bit. And right now the width is 3.9. So 4 inches would leave 3 inches between them because they're 1/2 inch. Move it a little bit. And I'm going to make those combine those. See, path, object path, path, combine. And then we're going to take this path and put it on this one. And let's make them aligned. Align their centers. And then we'll do path, combine. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Path, union. There we go. And there's one thing left to do. Zoom in. And that is to add a hanger. So what I did for that was extensions, measure path, center of mass, apply. The center of mass tool always generates a very fat stroke and 1/2 inch. Let's just make it a much smaller one so we can get a finer point on it. And you can see the vertical line now gives us the center of mass for the drawing. So if the hanging point is along that line, it's going to hang straight. So let's move this up and say, as long as it, and you can put a hole anywhere along there, but as long as it's hanging there, it should hang straight. So I'm going to draw a circle and make this, we can make it 300 by 0.3 inches, and we'll take that and put it in line with the center of the mass. Shift click this guy and path union. And all we have to do is delete this tool and add a circle to cut it out. So I'm going to make that 1/4 of an inch, or 1/8 of an inch, I'm sorry, 125. Difference. And there we are. So let's turn off the align and give it a fill. So there you go. That's our paw-shaped leash hanger. So, file, document properties. You always want to do this. Resize the content. And actually, just because it's simpler to do it here, I'm going to lay this down and then resize it, or resize it to the properties, or to the content. And then save as. I'm just going to put it on the desktop. Drawing. Save. Okay, so now let's take that into SheetCam. File. Import drawing. Desktop. Drawing. Ooh, there's our paw. And I'll select an operation. Select a layer. And that's that. There's our cut path. And then if we file, run post processor, run out of the desktop, and then we get our G code. So now we're ready to take it out in the garage and cut it. If you're curious what G code looks like, there's the G code. Anyway, let's take it out and cut it.
Our laptop guy's a little long-winded sometimes. Might have to edit it down so he doesn't talk so much. So I got it loaded. I took his drawing and loaded it, and you know, you may have noticed he drew it 8 inches wide, which was too big. So when I loaded it, it took up a lot of space on the table and just looked too big in real life. So when I loaded it, I scaled it to 75%, so it should be 6 inches wide now. And then I got it all laid out on the metal. You getting sick? Woo. Anyway, got it laid out on the metal. I ran a dry run, and everything looks pretty good. So this is 16 gauge metal. We are going to be running 30 amps on the cut 60, 55 pounds of air, 110 inches per minute. And let's fire it up and see what happens. Okay, I repositioned the camera, my phone, so you can see what's going on. Fired up plasma, and turn the torch on. And run it. Okay, I know you saw that pause, the pregnant pause there in cutting after the first pad. So, long story short, laptop guy decided, as I know he's mentioned, his laptop runs Linux Mint Debian Edition, so LMDE, and he decided to upgrade it to the latest release, which is fine, except if you know anything about computers, upgrading in place is a bad idea. And in this case, it was a bad idea. So what he ended up having to do was blow everything away and reinstall everything. So that's a long way for me to say that laptop guy screwed up and had the pierce delay set wrong. That's why the first cut, it delayed too long on the torch, and we missed a cut. So I changed the pierce delay back to 0.5 seconds and reran it, and everything seems to have worked out okay. That's hot. So there we go. Okay, so there's the paw hanger with the mounting hole, and very little dross once again. So I'm going to get that cleaned up, and then I'll show you how to bend those. So hold on for some time lapse. Okay, so that cleaned up pretty well. Can you see that? Yeah. So got the dross off. There wasn't a whole lot of dross on there. So the next step is to bend the key holder, well, in this case, not keys, but leash holders. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you've probably seen me do this before. But if not, this is a little method I came up with for bending such things. Just use something the size you want. Bear with me. Don't do this every day. This 32 millimeter socket is about the right diameter, so we'll use that to bend up the hanger. So, gives you a fairly uniform bend. I mean, you can still adjust it by hand. Gives you a pretty uniform bend. And then uniform and repeatable. Did I make a mistake? Let's see. Might have wanted to go a little bit farther than I did. Let's do this one. Okay, just clamp the piece of metal onto the socket with the little vice grip. And this one's going to be a little bit of a problem. There we go. And you hang that on the wall, and you hang the leashes from the hooks. That's pretty good. Okay, slight change in plans. I should have done this already, but I'm going to use the sander to clean this up a little bit more so I can use the torch to put some color on it. So let's do that. Okay, that's a project for today. So now when a family friend sends you a picture like this, it says, "Can you make it?" without getting into, you know, right and wrong of copying someone else's art, you can do it. And Laptop Guy showed you how, and you can end up with something like this leash hanger, paw-shaped leash hanger. I changed my mind towards the end there. In the time-lapse video you probably saw, I decided to go ahead and sand it down some more and then use the torch to put some color on it. It's more like what the original was. And they can still paint it. I did put some lacquer on it, but it'll still take paint if they decide they want to paint it another color or paint it black or whatever. But Anyway, that's the project for today. Hope you got something out of it. Like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time.